What's going on, ladies and gents? Today we're gonna this terrible intro already. Um, I'm exactly what you'd expect here, and I'm here joined by the man, the myth, the legend, the person that you should probably have heard about by now, Mr. D Silent 49. Say hello.
Hey, how you doing? Or feel free to call me Mike as well. It's a lot easier.
And I'm also joined by someone that you haven't heard of that you probably shouldn't ever look up, Mr. Cross.
Oh, I see how it is. Crosslock Dance here. Hello. Just call me Cross for the duration of this entire thing, and we're all good.
All right, and I brought these two here against their will to talk about if Breath of the Wild is worth it, with and without buying the system as well. So, what do you guys think?
Where do you want to start, Mike?
I'll start. Honestly, I think it's definitely worth it. I for the first day that it came out, because I got the Switch with the game itself, and I played for 10 hours straight. I actually streamed it for 10 hours straight, which I'm surprised I had enough endurance for that for, because I had to work the following morning. Anyway, by itself, I think the game was like great, because I haven't really played many open world games before, so it was a pretty unique experience for me. I went from the start of the game all the way until the first Divine Beast, and I enjoyed it. Music was good in that dungeon, and for the first night, I thought it was just great.
Interesting.
Mm,
That
So I'm sorry, because I just wanted to start small before we like really get going.
I can think of the word to say. What do you think, Cross?
um, personally, unless I had the system already, either or, I don't think it was worth it. And it's just because it felt very lacking in its vanilla state without any of the DLC content. And even then, I still don't feel like it's worth the full price purchase that's still being advertised for and probably will still be advertised for a very long duration of its lifespan.
Oh, it's gonna stay that way for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me.
You'll be lucky to get it at $50. Even
I
so,
know.
you're saying that even with the system, like assuming that you got a Switch from a friend, but you had to buy Breath of the Wild, you still think it wouldn't be worth it?
No, sorry. Let me rephrase that. I must have worded that wrong. I think if you're buying it with the system, like it's the system that, sorry, I'm sorry, it's the game that you buy
Mm.
a system purely for. I don't think it's worth it. But if you had the system, yeah, it can work out, but like it still feels a little lacking.
I personally have to agree with Cross. The fact that it's the you have four main dungeons quotation marks, because I don't want to compare them. I don't want to compare Breath of the Wild to Skyrim too much, because they're two separate games, but they're both open world. So if you take a look at Skyrim, each dungeon has been handcrafted from the ground up, and same with the shrines, but the shrines are just on a lesser scale. They're fun puzzles, sure, but none of them really change up the main formula. Does that make sense?
Some of them do make you think outside the box. I will say that. And I've done all 120 of them. I can say a bunch of them do make not some. A bunch of them do make you think outside of the box or some stuff, and it did make me feel a little smart and happy. I will admit.
What about on the Wii U? Do you think it'd be worth it if you bought the Wii U, buying into the hype, and then just
I mean, the Wii U is cheaper, and there are still plenty of great games on it, so it's worth it either way. And the Switch already has so much stuff announced for it that I think it is definitely. I honestly think it is worth it right now.
I kind of want to
And then,
go ahead. I'm just gonna check out the
I'm
Switch
sorry,
lineup.
I was gonna say whether or not you're a fan, because like me, whenever I start a new Zelda game, I experiment with whatever I can. I always have the Metroid mindset whenever I play a Zelda game. I try to experiment with every little thing that I have, and there's a couple of things I do forget that I do have that I don't experiment with. But eventually, I get to that point where I just try that one thing that I didn't try yet that I had. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Hmm. For me, because of the fact that it's so often compared to Skyrim, even though we're trying not to compare it too much here, I feel like if they were going to make it Skyrim like, they should have taken more of the good because it feels like Skyrim light and I like Skyrim Alpha, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
It feels like there was a lot of, and I know I already just said there's a lot of no content, but but what I mean specifically here is that, like you said, the shrines don't really mix up anything other than some formulas and some puzzles. And yeah, a lot of those puzzles are clever, but it feels so restraining in these little places, these little areas. What I felt like could have been a lot better, and I already said this when I was coming my way home to do this, um, that there could have been just a lot of just instead of all these shrines, these little things, you could have made like I don't know, you could have mashed them all together and made like
One big super shrine, or multiple big
not even just
super
one
shrines.
big super shrine. Yeah, just multiple medium-sized shrines. You
My
could.
I'm sorry, because I just want to add to what you're saying. My friend Shoutos 50 or Phil, we both agreed on one thing, and we thought they could have included just at least two more dungeons or two more divine beasts, like one in a different in each corner of the map, like north, northwest, northeast, south, southeast, southwest. I think just two more would have been acceptable. The well for us anyway.
See, for me, I don't mind four dungeons. In fact, I mean, Majora's Mask did that, and that game's wholesome, entirely wholesome. Because you know why? You don't need just dungeons. You can just have, you can have more than that. You can
Flesh out the world.
you can flesh out the world. You can get so many. There's just so much content in every
Yeah, but
corner that you can go
the
to.
open world, correct me if I'm wrong on this, Mike, it's mostly just empty space.
Not completely. There's something to find in a lot of places where you run around.
Would you say more or less than 55% empty space to just run around in?
Honestly, I didn't mind running around too much. Plus, they give you the ability to teleport to any shrine you opened up right off the bat. So I wasn't too offended by how big everything was. Plus, if I wanted to backtrack to where I was, I could just hit that teleport button. Not to mention for the expansion pass, they gave you the was it the traveler's medallion, so
Travel
you could set your own waypoint wherever you're standing, just to make the running around and horseback stuff a little less monotonous.
I
Now, for the open space, I think there could have been a couple of more towns, and I think one of my other main issues are the side quests. Some of them aren't really worth it. Some of them just give you bits of money.
the what?
The side
Oh,
quests?
some like most of the side quests just give you
Oh, side quest.
bits of money instead of like extra clothes and whatnot. So, I mean, some of them do give you some outfits, but I think there could have been just a little more. What's what I'm looking for? Just
Wholesome.
something a bit more worth it to the awards. Like I wouldn't mind if someone gave me some extra ancient arrows or whatnot. I love
A little
using
more
those.
enticing, you mean?
Oh yeah, I will say I like the ancient arrows in this game. They're like the Wind Waker's light arrows. You just send everything to oblivion.
Um,
I do think.
for me,
Oh, go ahead, Cross.
go ahead. Oh, you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I do think that a lot of it had to do with with where this game takes place specifically, and that's in a ruined Hyrule after the Guardians have destroyed everything and the calamity happened.
Most of everything.
Yeah. Yeah, again, he didn't really do that good of a job, did he? Anyway, um, yeah, like there's so little like civilized life in the grand scale of Hyrule, and it's sad to think about like how there's just so little left. but I think that took away from, you know, just having like, you know, what's the word? Having more, not just more towns, but like more
Just stuff to do.
towns with, yeah, more stuff to do, more towns with a purpose. Like, like at the end of the day, when you finally finish that side quest and make Terrytown, and you finally get that shield, the shields, the armor that you missed in shrines and all that. The what is it? The friggin' the free inn and everything.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, like
The town serves no other
that's
purpose than that.
yeah. And not only that, you had to take most of your time and resources to build the whole thing, only for it to give you this.
Can I commit a cardinal sin here and mention Skyrim again?
I mean,
Sure.
video.
Um, with Skyrim, each and every single town that you visit, and Skyrim and Fallout, each and every town that you visit, there is boatloads of stuff to do. You can always come back. Like, I can't remember the name of it, but there was this one place in Fallout 3. Everyone there was cannibals. That was interesting.
Oh yeah, I remember what you're talking about. That was great.
Yeah,
That was
just
really
a little side quest that you can do, completely off the beaten path. I'm not sure if there's anything like that that's worthwhile in Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, honestly, I kind of like putting that sound together.
I mean, I can. It is enjoyable, but at the end of the day,
It has to be
like,
worthwhile, don't you think? Because if you're just building a town just to build the town, then
yeah, you do get side quests from building the town too, and that's all fine and dandy. In fact, it leads to some very nice things and nice, interesting facts that you can learn about. It's almost a tutorial in itself, actually. But I'll stay off that path because that's a little weird to explain. But like, you don't. There's not a lot to it. You build this whole quest. You see Ronza get married and stuff like that, and then you do to the side quests, and they're very short, admittedly. Especially if you already have any of the resources needed prepared in your inventory. Then after that, it's just like, oh, okay, and you're done. And now there's nothing left to do in this town.
never going back there again. Well, I guess that does apply to the cannibal place from Fallout 3. Because once you go there, there's no point in going back.
To be fair, you didn't have to spend like an hour or two to build the quest.
Well, you didn't have to spend an hour or two in Breath of the Wild either. You could just go straight to the boss, and I think that's what makes it worth it for a lot of people. Just being able to go straight to Ganon.
Yep, the choices are yours and yours alone.
Mm. It's just it didn't feel. Maybe this sounds like really unappreciative. Maybe this is some old new generation gamer talk, but it didn't feel rewarding to do some of the quests in this game. A lot of these side quests did not feel rewarding in any sense, especially when the rewards it gave you are easily farmable or can just be altogether skipped.
I guess that is fair enough because, like Mike said, most of the side quests in here just give you rupees.
Yeah, I would have liked some of them to give you like additional weapons or something that you can
Um,
that you can rebuy later. Like, what's the name of the town you build again? Terrytown.
Terrytown.
Yeah, because like for example, you could get the Highland Shield in the. Is it right to just spoil where you get it, just for the sake of discussion?
sure, I'll put a spoiler one.
Yeah, because you could find it in Hyrule Castle, but and it has an absurd amount of durability. It'll last you for the whole game if you use it right. But if you lose it, sell it, etc., you can rebuy it in Terrytown. Like one of the things that Terrytown does is let you rebuy certain things that you don't have anymore. Or yeah, oh yeah, no, I said that right.
I just think that. Oh, are you? You continue.
Oh no, 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 no. Go ahead. You can see from here.
I just kind of want specific weapons that make you feel rewarded for going there and building this town up. I mean, I know that you got the Hylian shield, but what else is there really to do there?
Sleep for free. Buy diamonds, which is like a lot. You sell it for 1,000. Buy it for 2,000. I mean, if you really need to make something with it.
All right.
Yeah, one of the things I was getting at before, because I actually lost my train of thought for a bit, was that just being able to get something that rare again in Terrytown was nice, but I wish more of the side quests had a bit more substance, like they did in Majora's Mask, because you got a lot of different things for different side
And
quests. Either
they
it
all
was
had weight
bottles,
because you felt like you actually you did actually have a time limit. That was
and, and most of the side quests added to the ending of the game too. Like if there was some certain side quests or masks you didn't get, then you would just see like a floating mask at the credits. If you did something, I'm sorry, if you did them, if you especially if you did all of them, every single side quest that helped you get the Fierce Deities mask was added to the ending. The ending for this game, I think it's mostly screenshots, isn't it? Or just things that you've already seen.
I think I'll
No aftermath for any of the extra stuff you did, unless you got all the memories.
You know, speaking of that, the memories and all that, like it did feel really I don't know, like like we stated beforehand before the recording, Link does not really express himself very much, and he's just it's sad too because they gave him his official name, they made him try to be his own character, but like at the end of the day, like you just see him either neutral or surprised or actually there's no happy, he's just still surprised. But and it gets a little worse when you think about the fact that like at the beginning of every memory he's just like, oh, every time it's like, oh, okay, that's great.
just I said this before and I said this before recording as well. Just like in Pokemon Sun and Moon, you're being attacked by a giant Lurantis. Why are you smiling?
Well,
It's just little
see,
details like that.
Is this the face of mercy?
the thing is pretty funny is because the developers were very aware about the lack of facial expression in the cutscenes for Sun and Moon, and they made jokes on it too.
Really?
Yeah, if I remember correctly, I think kind of made fun of it with the dialogue. But in in Breath of the Wild, nobody really reacts to your facial expressions either, and you just fucking
Because if you
I'm
can't
sorry.
react, why are other people supposed to?
yeah. Why should they do the work for your story?
All right. Final verdict: is Breath of the Wild worth it on the Switch? Yes or no?
If you already have the Switch, I believe it is. It's still a good game. It still has a good combat system that I honestly find very wholesome, even if it has a lack of variety and a lack of wholesome side quests. The main story and the main plot and the main adventure is still very good and even replayable to a degree. And putting challenges for yourself actually adds a lot of extra content to the game that you didn't think would be there.
Right. Oh, there's actually one subject that I kind of wanted to touch upon, and this is actually another bit of a negative that I have with this game. Because for Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, there were a lot of different moves that you could do for Link. Well, for Wind Waker, it was more of a react button, and Link would do like a crazy move. In Twilight Princess, you learn a bunch of different skills. Now, there are different attacks with different weapons in Breath of the Wild: spears, hammers, short swords, and different jump attack animations for each one. But actual skills and whatnot, not a whole lot of them. Um, it's mostly attacking, just hitting the button or getting a nice little hit with stealth strikes. Oh, I guess to too long didn't read version. I wish there were more different sword skills that you could do for different
Kind
weapons,
of like
especially twirling around, hitting an enemy from the back, like Wind Waker and Twilight Princess Link did.
like Kingdom Hearts type battle system.
Uh, Not exactly that. Just extra skills like what Twilight Princess had, because there were 8 different sword
Like the
skills.
finishing strike,
Mm.
Yeah, like finishing strike, the helm splitter, like just getting a big
the
jump
shield
over the
bash.
enemy and just knocking their helmets off or something. Just more sword skills in general. I think you can even do some like just extra stuff for the for like hammers and long swords, but again, just more sword skills. And
I honestly, okay, I'm
I,
sorry,
I,
but
no, I was just gonna like, and because we were discussing the story earlier, I was saying before we started the call, like one of the most disappointing things about this game was Link himself, because he's actually called Link, but he doesn't really talk or anything. I know some people will say blasphemy about that, but they're they're like they've been making him his own character for a while now. People say this Avatar, like he's an Avatar nonsense, but he's not someone you make in I know you project yourself into him, but
I think
I mean
in most other
you
Zelda
can
games, he does have like dialogue choices, at least more so.
yeah. Another thing I was gonna say is that you put yourself in Link's shoes, but Link isn't exactly you, per se. Like if you're gonna have him during cutscenes and whatnot, like sorry, cutscenes and whatnot, emote him a bit,
Make
you
him
know?
do something.
you know, actually, I feel like there was a bit of a design choice that I felt was a bit lazy on their part too with the cutscenes, which is they only made all most of the cutscenes that were anything with the cinematic engine. They made it all. They didn't use an in-game engine. They used the art style obviously, but they didn't. They used pre-rendered graphics, pre-rendered movies and stuff like that, and it was actually kind of sad to see.
You mean for the for the memories? Because
Yeah,
anything else that's in the engine, well, you can tell right away if Link is still wearing the outfit you gave him.
yeah. But I felt like all the memories and stuff like that, and the fact that they didn't have more like just cinematic cutscenes other than when you enter the fight with Ganon was all solely for the purpose of just making it so like you didn't have they didn't actually have to animate other things of Link's outfit.
You wanted to see Link and Tingle's outfit during the last fight, didn't you?
We
No, I
all
wanted
did.
to see.
Oh, absolutely.
I would have loved to see him just like completely, just like what is it like, in like the garbage clothing at the end of it. It's like Link, do you still remember me? And why do you smell like fecal matter?
All right, but I think that's pretty much almost everything that I really wanted to get out. Plus, there's still the expansion packs to look forward to. Like the expansion bonus and DLC pack 1 are both out at this time. The second one with the story and the fact that it actually takes place after the main game story. So we're gonna have an actual epilogue here. So there will be more to talk about later when that comes out.
What do you guys rate the game out of 10?
Ooh, it's a tough.
I don't know. It's hard for me to give it a score, but let's say either I dislike it, I'm okay with it, I like it, I love it. I want to say between like and love, because I actually did get plenty of time out of this. I did as much as I could before until the end of the game. There is a bit more of the game that I do wish I had, but for the adventure itself, I want to say I really do like it. It's hard for me to really give a score, but I really did like the game. Honestly, I just wish there was just a teeny bit more to it.
You know what? I'll judge what he said, and then say he took it as an 8. But for me, yeah, it's not so well. I honestly would give it a 6.5. I'd have to say. And mind you, I absolutely love this game. Like I know I just bashed on it for a few minutes, but like it's a good game. It's a very fun and when you're doing the main adventure, like Mike said here,
But when
it's just
you compare it against other
yeah, but
games of its genre or other Zelda games, it just doesn't stand up as well.
it definitely doesn't stand up as well. And that's not to say this isn't a step in the right direction. I think this game made a lot of risk, especially with destroying most of it, the formula that Zelda has given. And I think it did a lot of things right. but I also think they did a lot of things wrong, and those wrongs are still just as powerful as the goods.
Yeah, I think a lot of things can be improved from what they have now, and just make an even better game afterwards. So, if they're going to use this as a base for the next game, then I'm actually looking forward to it because I'm pretty sure they could make something a much more meaty next time. But I still like this game. There in no way did I hate this game or anything. But I'm actually looking forward to what they do next because I know that I know for a fact it's going to get better next time. Or at least that's okay. Sorry, I
I
feel
have to agree with that.
I feel that it's going to get better next time.
I don't even feel I'm actually like I really like this game. I think it's beautiful. I think the design choices were beautiful. I think well, I'm sorry, it's the art choices were very beautiful. I think a lot of the nature, the scenery, despite it being empty, was still very beautiful, very good to appreciate. That's kind of why, as there's, I don't know, I'm not even trying to like make a comment about it, but as I tried to take a lot of pictures in this game, because they were just moments of like, wow, this is beautiful, this is great, and I need a screenshot of this. It just felt like art, moving art. Is that make it if that makes any sense?
Yeah.
But like our man here has said, Mike, what do you think? Do you think it's worth it for the Switch?
Not just for playing on the TV, but for playing a main was it main core main title whatever Zelda game on the go, and plug it up anywhere else. Yes, it's worth it, and I definitely think it's worth it. Plus, I bought it for the system, so I've had plenty of time to think and play this and really form an opinion. So I want to say yes.
All right. Thank you guys for coming. I appreciate you taking the time to talk with me about Breath of the Wild.
Of course, this is actually something I've been wanting to talk about for a little while now.
No problem, Captain.
Thank you all for watching. I'll leave channel links in the description. Go say hi to these beautiful people, and I will see you all later. Peace out.
Yoink.